And we are live. Well, not live. We're recording. Welcome back, Wednesday Game Changers Nation around the world. And today's topic is we're going to hit agent attraction because it just somebody asked the question. I don't know if Sean's on the call, but it was just obvious that we need to dig into this thing deeper for you guys. There was the question of like revenue share versus profit share. And some of us thought it was the same thing, and it's not, right? And so Ed and I talked together this past week, and we're like, we would just want to dig in a little deeper, make sure you guys are all aware of all the tools that you have available to yourselves to take advantage of this opportunity. Not only the tools, but like the skill set, right? So I'm going to ask Ed at some point to like talk about sort of the psychology of sales. So it's not only useful for what we're going to talk about agent attraction, but in your sales business, there's certain terms and ways you phrase questions that you don't want to do, right? Because it will absolutely shut down the conversation or distract them or get them going in a different direction. And then just, again, making sure you understand the concepts, the cadence, the support systems that we have in place, because, and there was like a light bulb that went on for me yesterday when I was talking with Ed. And a lot of what we talk about here at Game Changers or EXP, but specifically Game Changers, we talk about like how we got some great coaching and great training. And I think we've got to shut that thing down, like, because what we're providing is way more than that. Like by using that terminology, we're putting ourselves on the same level as other people out there because they got their former coach and they got their former training. What we're talking about here is true partnership. Nobody's offering that. We're talking about locking arms with each other, helping each other build passive sources of income, growing our businesses, right? But also, while we're selling a hell of a lot of real estate, because we are the number one company in the nation in terms of number of sales, right? So we're selling more real estate than anybody else. But while we're doing that, we're also building passive sources of income, and we're building a basically retirement fund for whenever we decide to retire. At least we get that choice, right? So I'm going to challenge everybody to get that language of like, hey, we bet it's the best training coach. We're in partnership here. That's our unique value proposition here at Game Changers. We're partners with you, and whatever that's going to look like for you, increasing your sales. Sales are great, but my life sucks, right? Well, we'll teach you how to get out of that, right? Or I have no retirement plan at all in place, and I'm burnt out. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I'm just going to die showing houses. What a miserable like vision that is in my head. It's like, right? So I don't want that for me. I don't want that for any of you guys. So let's dig into the very basics. Is everybody clear on the difference between profit share versus revenue share, right? Because I think we get tied together, and people who were told like, hey, you could do this in profit share, and it didn't materialize, are now like, when we try to talk to them about rev share, they're like, nah, sorry, I've been taking down that road, and that wasn't delivered the promise that I was promised, right? Everybody clear? Cool.
I'll speak up. I'm newer, so I've got a good idea, but I know I'm missing something. Because I mean, from what I understand, profit share, that's KW, correct?
Yep.
So each market center is independent, so they're like their own company versus we're one brokerage. So if that particular market center is not making money, you're not making money, is my understanding. And if they make money, half goes to the owners of the market center, and the half gets divided up to agents who recruited other agents. Versus revenue share is what? When you recruit somebody, if they cap, you get money, or what's the difference there?
Yeah, there is no calculation of profit, right? So they're not subtracting any expenses. It's so transparent and obvious. You close a deal, John, whatever that price is, whatever the commission is, I know exactly what my revenue share check is going to be because it's based off of the top line, not a bunch of deductions and operating expenses and accounting tricks that you can play to minimize your profitability. Their inherent is sort of the major difference, right? It's that it's
But do you as my sponsor, do you see anything like right off my first couple closings, or is it after I cap?
no, it's every month. It's every month at the end of that month. So it's end of September, a couple days after, actually right now, like right around the middle of the following month, you get paid everything that closed for people that you sponsored the month before that closed.
And it's actually
Now,
until you cap.
Until you cap, yes.
Yeah.
Right. So you're receiving money all the time. Now they announced at EXPCon that they're working on a system to make it real time, so that you're not waiting. Say the way it's been working is in October, everything closes. They finish out the month, they reconcile the month, and then somewhere in the middle of November, you get paid the check for October, right? They announced on EXPCon that they're actually working on a real time, so that as somebody closes a deal, you get paid. It goes right into your account.
So it's up till when you get a cap. So let's just say it's a bad year and I only reach half my goal. That means you got half the funds, but you got something. It's not being paid out after I cap, correct?
Correct. You're going to pay it all along the while until you cap.
Okay, that's even better than I thought.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. And then the difference is, I think it is 7 levels deep in revenue share, but also 7 levels here. To open up all your levels, it's like 30 now FLQAs at EXP. And so they just keep on making it better. And one of the things that you'll hear is like, oh, well, is it sustainable? They've actually built in a SS buffered. So they keep back a little portion of it. It's almost like a pension fund, right? To make sure it's sustainable forever. And yeah, we're growing, right? And it's not just the revenue from the brokerage, it's the revenue from all the affiliated companies, right? So that's the other part, like literally title, mortgage, coaching, everything that Glenn Sanford's been building feeds into the revenue and the profitability of the company.
Real quick, has everyone seen, I think it's John Mikish that does this simple revenue share calculation with the example, an agent only selling 6 homes a year. Has everyone seen that? If not, I'll get it to Guillermo and he can send it to everybody, because a picture's worth 1,000 words. And I just use that video and I send it to agents and just say, this is in reality what John Mikish did in a very short time. The numbers are real. But I say, even if you cut that in half or in a quarter, the numbers are real. So if I were speaking to you, John, I would say, and you were sponsoring me, and I was a habitual $5 million producer, I would say, because you're sponsoring me directly, like what you will get is $2,800 every year that I cap. And I think the video will explain it. And that tool, rather than me explaining it to someone, we can get caught up in the weeds, and that's a danger zone. Let me just send you a simple example of what it can look like for you. Honestly, when I looked at that, and I've been recruited since day one of EXP, that video and my relationship with Guillermo, it's like I'm in. So look for, my suggestion would be look for some really good tools. The less we talk, the better.
Yeah, and that's part of what I want to tackle today. I want you guys to be aware of everything that's in our tool chest, so that when you're having conversations, you have the tools available, but you also know how to go about the conversation, because it is a partnership, right? And so, Katie, when you're going out there and having a conversation with the person you're going to meet with, it's not, you're not doing it all on your own shoulders, right? If you're doing it all by yourself, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to do it wrong. It's the mistake that I made. Don't do the same thing I did. squandered about a year and a half, a year and 3 months, trying to do it the way that I've been taught as a broker. That's not it. We're not brokers, right? We're not offering the same thing that they get phone calls nonstop from other people. I say it again, we're offering a partnership opportunity, locking arms with them to change their lives and their kids' lives and their kids' lives. I feel so passionate about this. And like, I feel like I gotta have you guys fully understand this because it's absolutely changing people's lives. And I wanted to be changing everybody's lives on this call. I'm going to butcher it. And I meant to, and I apologize. I meant to go back and watch Aaron's video on this. But Aaron basically drew a parallel between what we're experiencing in our industry right now and what has happened in other industries, right? And he talks about leverage. And he used the example of like a guy in a laundromat. And I think, Ed, maybe you watched this, so if I goof up, maybe you can correct me. But there's a guy, and Marcus, did you watch it? I saw you shake your head. All right, cool. So you can help me too if I goof it up. But basically, he draws the example of a guy who's working in a laundromat. That person has no scale, no leverage, right? He's working, exchanging time for money. So the next level is so a guy or a gal who's a manager of that laundromat. And that person has more leverage, but they have people leverage. People leverage is better than no leverage, but people turn over, cost money. You know, it's a lot of investment in yourself, right? So that's another level of leverage. Then there's time leverage, money leverage, which is, you know, you become the owner of that laundromat, right? Money leverage is even more leverage than people. But the limits of that is boundaries, right? There's geographic boundaries and borders of that. For instance, you got that laundromat in that neighborhood, you can only service that neighborhood. Right. And then the next one is like, hey, maybe you have I forget what he called the title of it, but the next level leverage is owning a bunch of laundromats, which is like franchises in our system, right? Owning a bunch of offices. So now you're breaking the borders, but again, still geographically limited, still money limited. The guys who broke the bank, the billionaires, are the ones that use technology as the highest form of leverage. That's the Facebooks of the world, Twitter, you know, Tesla is sort of like, those are the guys who've broken it down and use the highest form of leverage. And that's what EXP is. That's what RevShare is, right? It's the highest form of leverage that you can have in your business. There is nothing that's more dollar productive than doing agent attraction. Just analyze it. There's nothing. Not running a team, not owning a brokerage, not being a region owner. There's a lot of risk associated with it, right? So we got to sell real estate, and we've got to, as we're selling real estate, put this other thing in place. Agent attraction, bring people in to join EXP for the same reasons you joined, right? Here's the reality. Only 11% of people actually take advantage of agent attraction. So that means 89% of the other people are here for other reasons. So there's a crap load of other reasons why you want to be at this company other than RevShare. Remember that. Know that. Lean into that. Make sense? So the program, this is all right. So first thing is like in our Rev system, Real Estate B School, we all have a portal. Who here has not gotten access to the Revs portal yet? Everybody got access to it? In there is a training on agent attraction by John Mikish. It's by the 6 or 7 video system. It's you go through each video is anywhere from as short as 15 minutes to as high as 30 minutes tops, right? And it goes through the program on how you have the conversation, right? It's a 4-step process. And the first 2 parts are your parts. Peak, present. That's really you need to have the 9-minute video in your arsenal. So the 9-minute video is a summary of all the bells and whistles of EXP. That's your job in the process, is to inform somebody, some prospect, somebody who's like, you know, interested, you close the deal with, and you love them because they were just great on the other side. You know, invite them to learn about the model. And then when they're interested in it, then that's where the partnership part comes in. That's when Katie, you're like, hey, cool, great question. Guillermo probably knows that better than me. Let's set the three-way call. Right? Because they need to see that we're in partnership together and that we work together. So I unpacked a lot of things there. There's the REBS system. So if you haven't watched the video, that's your homework. Go watch all the videos with John Mikish. That guy is brilliant. He's thought of every single thing you need to say in every single different scenario, and from his heart, because he believes it. He's passionate about this company. He knows it's the right thing for everyone, right? So go watch that. Super, super important. Number two, be familiar with what the program is. Who knows what the 10 by 10 is? Who doesn't know what the 10 by 10 is? More importantly, and that's okay if you don't know. That's the whole point of this call. Go, cool, Katie. John, you don't know what the 10 by 10 is?
No, I don't.
All right, cool. So the 10 by 10, I'm actually going to share my screen. Well, let me talk about a concept first. 10 by 10 program is build a 5-year plan for yourself and for the people you sponsor. It's a 5-year plan. That's why when people can be like, hey, you're just recruiters at EXP. No, we're the #1 company selling real estate. We just get paid for everything else that we do for our broker in other brokerages. All right. So let's end that nonsense. We're not recruiters. We're just inviting people into the most disruptive model ever created in our business for their benefit and for their good. They're going to make more money on their sales. They're going to get stock. They're going to retirement fund. They're going to have lots of opportunities to build wealth because we're the owners of the company. All right. So the 10 by 10 program is build a 5-year plan, and you attract 2 people in every single year over 5 years. 2 people over 5 years. So that's 10 on your front line. And here's an important point. You got to help those 10 do the same thing. That's the exponential part. That's the partnership part. That's changing other people's lives, not just yours. Help those 10 do those 10. And now I'll share my screen. You guys see a spreadsheet?
Yep.
All right. This you all need to have. If you don't, I'll make sure that it gets circulated to the entire group at the end of this call. But it's a very simple chart. Is you put in the average transaction number of transactions 6, average price point 325, average commission rate 275, and this is the 10 by 10 guys. You introduce 10, and those 10 introduce 10. So you got 110 total in your organization. This is what that looks like. $15,000 a month or $180,000. For again, let me repeat, average agent who does 6 transactions a year, our average price point in this region is around I think that's actually lower than what it actually is, 325. You bring in 10 who then also each of them bring in 10. And you're looking at annual passive income every year, every single year, of about $180,000 or $15,000 in a month. That's the equivalent of having $4.8 million in the bank. Right? So when we talk about retirement, this is the part that grabbed me, right? Because I've been working like a slave for 20 years in this business. And I've had a lot of the financial success. I don't have $4.8 million after taxes in my bank, right? I don't. I wish I did. And so we got a choice. All those agents out there have a choice. They can keep on, working that old-fashioned model, hoping to get to $4.8 million and have a retirement fund, and why is that number important, right? It's the rule of 4%, right? You go to any financial advisor, when they talk about your retirement, you want to have a principal amount so that you're pulling interest off of that principal amount, not digging into your principal, so you can actually survive until you actually die, right? So in order to live off of that 4% and have $15,000 a month, figure out, I don't know whether that's your living expenses or not. We can run a bunch of different scenarios for different agents, 10,000, 5,000, 25,000, whatever it is. But most people, when you ask them, what do you need to retire on per month? The number that most often comes up is 15,000, right? Mm-hmm. So their choice could be go make 4.8 million after taxes net. So Uncle Sam's going to take 30%, right? And put that in your account, or you go change 10 people's lives. Which one's easier? That's what it just comes down to, right? And that's the thing. Like I don't know if you feel like I'm passionate about this. You got to have the same passion around it because this is changing people's lives. So on the same spreadsheet, I'll send this around. There's also this little chart where they can compare what their current situation sales-wise is at one company versus EXP. So this is actually a real life example. I had a call with somebody late last night. Does about 12 transactions, 475 average price point. He's at one of those, and he's got a pretty high split at one of those old-fashioned models, right? He's got a 90-10 split, but they got a 6% franchise fee. So no cap on the 10%, right? He's got 90% split, but no cap. 6% franchise fee, so it's not really 90%, right? It's more like 84. No cap on that thing either. And then he's paying a monthly fee to that company as well. Turns out we're saving him about 10 grand under EXP. Now those are the numbers I pulled off of Bright MLS. He told me he's actually doing 25 deals. When I put the 25 deals, that number goes up to $32,000 we're saving under the EXP model. Right? So I want you guys to be armed.
Irma,
yeah.
This is talking straight sales too, right? This doesn't include anything else.
This is just straight sales. Here on the left-hand side is their company. Here on the right-hand side is our company. Is there now, Marcus, to your point, when somebody's a capper and then icon agent where they get back their $16,000 back in stock, that will be reflected in here. Okay. So if I push this back up to, say, let's just play with that and move that to 25. Right, and so that number becomes 36,000. You'll look over here on the right-hand side. It'll show them getting back their, I think that's right here. They're basically zeroed out their cost, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to get their $16,000 back. It's right here. I think they get it back in sort of in this number here. I use more often the spreadsheet with the teams. There's one with teams. So I'm not as familiar with this format. I just want you guys to start with this format because it's simpler. There is another spreadsheet that if you have a team and you got to break out all the team members and show the team owner, like, hey, here's how much revenue share you would get from your team, that kind of stuff. I've got that spreadsheet too that you guys can break down and work on.
Can you share both versions?
Absolutely. The team one is really complicated because there's so many pieces. So I've hidden a couple of the tabs just to simplify things. Just be aware of that. Because you've got the standard team, you've got the disassociated team, and then you get the mega icon team. And so there's a bunch of different tabs. I think if you get at that point, and you're bringing in a team, there's a whole growth division within EXP that will work with you and generate all that data for you and do those spreadsheets. I'm just a spreadsheet nerd, so I do it myself, right? But for those who are not, then you just, the growth team will, again, you should be talking to me at that point, or talking to Ed, or talking to whoever your sponsor is, and we're wrapping in the resources internally that you need. Cool? All right, so understanding the concept, I wanted to show the spreadsheet. I wanted to talk about the concept of 4%. There is a bunch of videos I'm just gonna share my screen one more time, and then I want to turn this over to Ed to talk about linguistics.
Marcus, what does linguistics mean? I have no clue. Could somebody Google that? He's setting me up.
You know what it is? Snob Guillermo using big words that don't make no sense. All right, well, let me cover this and then I'll turn back to you, brother. There are a bunch of videos. Now, I use CRM Grow. I'm looking at another CRM, but here it is. You've got a 9-minute video that explains all the concepts at EXP in English. You got it in Spanish for the US market, not Spain or some of these other countries that we're in. There's a 30-minute video with Brent Grove. And then there's that conservative revenue share example that Ed mentioned, that John Mikish did. There's one out there that Brent Grove did that's, I fear using that one because it's more pie in the sky, or could appear to be more pie in the sky to some people, just overwhelm them. This one's a simple one, easy sort of people to visualize that's possible. All right, hold on, someone wants to join in. Cool, welcome, Luis. For those that are in Spain, I've got videos in Spain. There's a napkin presentation by Gene Fredericks, which I think is super powerful. It just explains why our model is so disruptive. And this one is huge too, Pandemonium. This is by Michael Del Prete. I've been mispronouncing his name, but I think that's how you do it. He's a third party, unaffiliated with EXP, spoke at Inman News, and he talks about, is this a Netflix versus Blockbuster moment? And it really shows where the industry has changed and why that model is just, you won't say that it's dead, but basically all indicators that it's dead. And so that everything is going to be switching over to our model within a short period of time. So all these videos you need to have access to. And so you can either do that through CRM Grow, ask me, I can point you in the right direction, send you links. The one I can't really get to you very easily is this one, because this is proprietary to CRM Grow. EXP explained in 9 minutes. That's native to their system and copyrighted and all that good stuff. Cool. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I'm going to switch gears and then have Ed talk about the language, right? Sometimes and this came up because you used the example yesterday, Ed. It was gosh, what was the example you said? Why
aren't you with EXP?
Yes, okay. Go for it.
Yeah. So I'll just start with that. Like, don't ever say that. Because what happens is when we ask that question, their ears hear it, it goes to their brain, and they literally will start telling, like when I was recruited, like, why aren't you with Remax? I'd be like, well, glad you asked. This is why, because I'm not 422 years old. I've stopped using a flip phone. Should I go on? Right. So yeah, that's like amateur mistake. I'm making some notes here. And I think the first thing is going into leadership mode. Those of us that are high-powered, highly trained salespeople, we almost have to reverse that and go into, and I'd highly recommend reading a book. Y'all could probably read it in 90 minutes. It took me 9 days to read it. It's called The Go-Giver. And that's the place that we want to come from in our heart, in our positioning. So starting with that, my belief level, one of the reasons why I didn't join EXP in the past is I was like, I'm just going to get literally dropped in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and there's not going to be any help. That changed when I met Guillermo, but my belief level in the last 2 days, I lost. Somehow I hit the wrong thing, reset password. I couldn't get into anything. I emailed, I don't even know that I emailed the right person. In 45 minutes, I was up and running. I literally couldn't get into anything with EXP. That gave me so much confidence. So think about, like, number one, why did you join EXP? And but just in your head, why did you join EXP? Like that's something really powerful. So our belief has to come first. Your experience, both good and bad. Maybe why didn't you join before? Why didn't you join another brokerage? Like most of the time, it's the way that it was presented to us. When you start feeling what in the ninja world, it's called the pursuer, distancer dance. Know that we need to change our approach. Right? So I may look, and I'll go into a little bit of role play, hopefully real play. I'm not the best role play person, but if I was recruiting Guillermo, I would say like, Guillermo, it's great getting together with you, man. I've admired you for the last 10 years, you know, back in our KW days. And what I'm finding, man, is like, and I know this isn't you or your family, but you know, some of these top producers that are making 4, 5, 800,000, $1 million a year, man, I'm finding that a lot of them owe like $1 million in taxes, and they're like broke at a different level. Like, do you find that? Do you see that? And I will tell you right there with a top producer, you don't need top producers, by the way, to make $100 grand, $200 grand, $300 grand a year in rev share. A lot of them are experiencing that. I don't even, when I do coaching calls with top producers, I don't even ask if they owe the IRS anymore. I ask them how much they owe the IRS. And about 50% of them are at least 40,000. So and that's my leadership. This is not manipulation. I'm not trying to shame them or guilt them or anything. It's just and I would highly encourage y'all to get really centered and grounded with your leadership style. And I've settled into this, that I'm the guy that for some reason people welcome my very hard questions. When I've known you for 62 seconds, I just ask the questions. So belief, your experiences, recognizing the pursuer, distancer dance. Guillermo and I were talking yesterday, and this is going to take some practice. You can call it whatever you want. I'm getting rid of the words EXP, because most of us have been recruited by EXP bloodhounds. Join EXP, come in my downline. I'm going to make money off of you. And then if I make money off of you and you get some, you're going to make money off of them. And then they're going to make money off of, and it's just so great, right? It's like, so like whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to say, hey man, I'd love for you to join Game Changers. We've got partners in Philadelphia, Spain, Florida. We're a really collaborative group. I'm stopping saying EXP for the main reason it's different. Yeah, we plug into the EXP system, but we're totally different. We offer business planning, recruiting webinars, which are going to be coming up, real estate B school. We have a training staff of investors. One of our partners owned a $40 million real estate portfolio, life coaching, sales coaching. We meet Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays. We have partners that I scribbled it down, that train in property management. Yeah, we're powered by EXP. We just use their systems. This is all up to you of how you want to deliver this. But when I was back in the day at KW Exton, I was up against the wall. The OP, nobody liked her. Nobody trusted her. She stole business for decades from people. And I had to start saying, she has nothing to do with this company. I run the company. Nothing to do with it. In fact, we operate completely different from KW. I don't care if you want to recruit or not. Here's a zinger. I like disruption. Oh, KW does have rev share. You guys didn't know that, did you? Who knew that KW had rev share? Not profit share. They have rev share just like us. It's in the form of a 6% royalty that goes right to Gary Keller. How's that make you feel? That's their revenue share. It goes right to Gary Keller and the regional owners. Tools and preparation. So Katie, you're going, I think it was Katie that's going on an appointment. Like questions. If you need questions, reach out to me. I'll give you some questions, but they have to be authentic to you and how you're going to present it. Right. And those questions could be like, hey, do you have an interest in profits, or do you have an interest in residual income? I'm going to send you this video before we meet.
I have I think I have a good opportunity, so I'm taking advantage of all of it. She's a brand new solo agent that just got licensed in July. So
Very cool. The power of language, though, the psychology. I highly recommend watching a couple of Chris Voss videos. When I even say his name, I pause and I slow down. This is no different than a listing appointment. It's no different. Tell me what's going right in your business. Tell me what's going wrong. I'm in the role of a consultant now. One thing I tell agents is, one thing you're going to get is a raise. My job is to position you better in the market. And if that's with Berkshire Hathaway, so be it. We're just going to have a numbers conversation here. No emotion. And if possible, when you do this calculation with them, let them plug in the numbers. If you're with them in person, or you can share your screen with them, let them plug in the numbers. This is really important. For years, I did the numbers, and then I'd show them. And they would look at the numbers and go, holy crap, but you did the numbers, Ed. What kind of voodoo did you play? Let them do the numbers. And just, so what do you think? Where do you want to take it from here? Something else, and I keep telling Guillermo, I promise I'm going to get it to him. The biggest change that I did as a recruiter, we can always learn from everybody. And I learned this from Mike McCarthy. It's the only thing I learned from him. We're gonna arm you guys with written offers that are what EXP offers anyway, plus game changers. And it's just going to really probably end up being a commitment from you. It's not a binding contract. It's none of that stuff. It's just when someone is handed an offer, they get to go home and tell their wife, husband, kids. It's all ego. I was given a written offer today. This does take practice. It's more important what not to say than what to say. Right. So, John, I'm sure you were recruited by lots of EXPers, man. Like, maybe think of, I'll give you an example. Everybody knows Dave Gagnon, right? If you don't, whatever. He was the original recruiter for EXP. I probably had 8 meetings with that guy. And all he did for me, or, his presentation was, let me show you my screen. Okay, so see this month, I'm going to make X amount this month. Wouldn't that be good, Ed? Creepy, shaking your head, NLP. If I shake my head, yes, you're going to shake your head, yes, kind of crap. That's 20 years outdated. It's like, there's no way I could join this guy. I don't care about your spreadsheet. I don't care about your revenue share. What are you going to do to help me? So that's like, don't, in my opinion, again, this is a cool thing. We all can do it whatever way we want, but think of what turned you off. And more than likely, you know, it's like, how many times have you gone to a real estate training and the guru on the stage is say this and don't say this and then do this and NLP, right? And then you meet them at the bar and you go, yo, man, do you actually do that? And they're like, hell no, I don't do that. That's what the company wanted me to say. I don't do that. That shit doesn't work, right? Go in with a leader, a servant leader's heart. And there's nothing wrong, man. There's nothing wrong with like, hey, man, thanks for getting together with me. I just, in the recovery world, I have a little bit of an edge because I've been in the recovery world. And we have a saying, just share your experience, strength, and hope with other people. That's it. So I don't know about you, but man, I was let down. I took a franchise from 100,000 in total profit to over 3 million in profit. And you know what I got after 5 years? I got my contract breached. True story. I was waiting for my Rolex and a $500,000 signing bonus to keep me on. Instead, what they said was, hey, you only had 25 appointments last week. You're not hitting the standards, right? I wanted to start looking for something that was clear. Clarity. When I found RevShare, it's clear. It's predictable. I know exactly what that model is. I wanted to work with a sexy company, man, that's new. They're established, but they're new. Right? And I can see it. Like I'm real playing now. I can see it, man. I listen to like Dream On, the live version, Steven Tyler screaming. I'm going to curse a little bit here. My kids are going to see their badass motherfucking dad in 3 years going, don't ever, ever let go of your dream. Don't ever let go of your dream. No matter what, don't ever let go of your dream.
Yeah.
This junkie college dropout that went through his whole life thinking he was stupid. True story. Fuck that, man. This is it. And man, we're going to help. Here's the last thing. And then this isn't about you and it's not about me, man. Guillermo said something. Somebody joining my organization, our organization, it won't really change my standard of living. I'd be very grateful that it does, but it's definitely going to change theirs. It's definitely going to change theirs. And it's about giving others that opportunity. So many people are just broke at a different level. They got the Benz, they've got the 5 properties, 10 properties, 100 properties. I'm getting the calls. This is what I do. Ed, I'm worth $10 million on paper and I'm broke. I can't feed my family. I'm literally ready to eat a bullet. What do I do? It's not about us, man. It's not about AJ Micah making, $1 million a month. For me, it's not. That's great. And that shows what's possible. It's about that single mom that goes, thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Marissa. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, John. Thank you, Jill. 3 years ago, you had the guts and the courage and the love in your heart to share something with me. It's changed my family tree forever. Guillermo and I will be on stage. I'll be crying like a little baby, saying, I'm so grateful you sent me that email. And for some reason, I responded and went, yeah, I'll go to Orlando. I'm going to recruit coaching clients. Forever grateful. Right. And part of my goal, by the way, this is what drives me. Find out what drives you. Like I will make sure that Guillermo's kids are going to be saying, Uncle Eddie is the best. He is the best. He is the best. Because I'll be going, yo, your cheap old man isn't buying you a new motorcycle? You know how much money he made this month in revenue share? Uncle Eddie's going to buy it for you.
You know, I talked about having the picture in the hallway. That might be a statue. You might have a city statue.
And look, I'm learning this as I go too, right? I'm just getting my wheels started. I'm just figuring this out, right? I don't, like I said, I couldn't even log into the system, right? But this has been my experience. Be prepared, bring some tools, know who you're meeting with, but be a real person. This is true. Like, think about, I always say this to agents. There's not one agent out there that isn't with EXP that would not change places. And they don't have to be the superstars. There's not one person that would not change places with Lars. There's not one person that would change places with the sort of no-name EXP person that has 200 people in their revenue share, in their own cloud-based brokerage. You know, that's now pulling in 12, 15 grand a month. There's no one that would not change places with that person. Yeah, and I would say do what, there's no way we can share something that we don't passionately believe in. And I'll tell you, my belief yesterday or 2 days ago, going through this hiccup, that was my mistake, by the way. The support, holy crap. They were like, we're on it. What do you need? I'm like, I don't even know. I can't get into anything. I messed it up. All right, cool. Go here, click this, go over there, click that. You're good. We're going to check back with you to make sure you're good, Ed. They even used my first name. I'm like, I don't even think I'm talking to a bot here. I think I'm talking to a real person. Get that belief system, man. And we're like, use me, man. Like, and I mean that. If you feel like you align with me, I don't keep score of who's in what. I don't care. I don't care if I profit off it or not. Just let me know how I can help, man. I've 14,000 recruiting appointments, something crazy like that. Coaching, recruiting appointments. It's just questions, man. Just put yourself in that. I'm going on a listing appointment. Listen. See y'all at the top. And by the way, any questions, man? Like, is there something you're like, how do I handle this? How do I handle that?
Okay. But by the way, how lucky are we to have that guy in our group? The GOAT, man. That passion, that energy. Like I can't help but smile. And he's part of our group. Like, we get to talk to him and dig into that knowledge and that wisdom. And thank you for being part of our world and part of our lives. It's just awesome, man. And it really is just caring about that other person across the table from you, asking questions.
Yeah.
And passion. Like, if you got any like what's the word I said? It was not insomnia, ignorance. It was anxiety or trepidation about anything about EXP. Let's talk it out. All right. Let's just talk it out, because honestly, I don't see any holes other than the onboarding process. I'll be honest with that. I don't love that one, but other than that, like, everything is just rock solid, top notch, the best I've ever experienced. So if you don't feel that and you're not believing it in your heart, we need to talk about it, because I'll share what I see, and hopefully you see it the same way.
And Guillermo, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think this is a tool. Can we invite a guest on here that's not with EXP?
Yes. All right, cool. Thank you. There were the last two things I want to say. This mastermind every week is an opportunity for you to invite people and just feel our vibe, right? Some will, some won't. So what, right? And that's it. Just invite them in. I actually had somebody that I invited to this mastermind, but last minute they had to cancel. And it's on a topic that, like, they're from an outside firm, like, you know, is agent attraction. It's like, I don't care, man. I just want them to feel our energy, our vibe, how we communicate, you know, see my beard, maybe my pencil mustache next week. Like whatever it is, man, that's who we are. And some are gonna be attracted to it and some aren't. And that's cool. Right? To steal Ed's term, this is our tribe. This is who we're going into battle with. And I love it, man, because we got some serious players. And it's about changing our kids' lives and our kids' lives, their kids' lives, and their kids' lives. For everybody on this call and for everybody in our organization. It's not about I. It's about we.
I'll throw this out there too. I don't have it set, but probably I'm flying up to Philly tonight for a week. Probably Tuesday around 1 o'clock in the Chester County area. I'm just going to do some kind of like impromptu mastermind training stuff. Bring some guests with you. I don't even know where it is. Like it'll literally be just, all right, what do we need to talk about in our industry? Yeah. Let's rock and roll. And what one thing I'll promise you is like, I just can't shut this off. I promise you, whoever you bring will experience something different from any other mastermind. The magic just happens, man. It just happens. So I'll put it out there in the social media world, but figure Tuesday around 1 o'clock.
Cool.
And
Awesome.
it will be authentic, but one of the conversations will be numbers, knowing your numbers, mindset, knowing your numbers, your unique strategy, all that good stuff.
Cool. Awesome. The last piece, and I'm not going to get into it, is having events is another tool. I just got the standard operating procedures of somebody who's super successful, been running events where they teach, and then they also explain the EXP model. It's really, really successful and really, really helpful. So I'm going to organize it. It came in big chunks of different emails. So I'm going to organize this. It's digestible, but I encourage you guys to team up together, right? And just follow the path that other people have done really, really well. It's just another tool in our toolbox for us to sort of get people to achieve the highest level. Cool.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about, like just holding masterminds in my local area with other agents so we can discuss how to get through this market and everything else. And me being the leader, I think it'll bring or attract more agents towards me.
Yeah. Well, listen, my commitment to you guys is to help you all get to your 100, right? And your 110. And so I'm going to study the model. I'm going to share with you at another mastermind session. Generally, it's like 30, 40 minutes teaching on a just general topic that they can help them digital marketing, how to build your sphere, whatever it is, and then invite them to learn or just pivot right into here's the EXP model. And so they've done it with one party teaching the class and then somebody else coming and talking about EXP or playing the video. I'm committed. I'll come back every 2 to 3 months and we can batch them all together. Like, John, you're doing one in one area. Marcus, you're doing one in one area, whatever it is. Peter, you're doing one in another area. Ed, I'll come in and I'll team up with you guys, teach the class, we'll do the EXP part of it. We got to do it consistently. The guy whose model I'll share with does it once a month. AJ might have did it once a week, but this other guy's having really good success doing it once a month. Is just keep it going. You got to do it consistently, right? Cool.
Woo!
Any questions? Any thoughts, concerns, limiting beliefs? This is a safe area, safe zone. Cool. Well, if you have any of them after this call, bring me the next question. All right. Thank you again. I appreciate you all. Go out there, cause and create miracles. Have a great day.
See you guys. Cheers.